Hi, I'm Tara, author of the cookbook 7 Spoons, and welcome to Oven Atelier. This series will focus on some iconic French desserts, and along the way highlight those details that will ensure success in your home kitchen. Today we're focusing on the glory of laminated dough and croissants. The success of a croissant is in its technique. In its simplest terms, it's merely a stratum of dough and butter, so there's very few places to hide mistakes. That said, don't fret. It takes some time and takes some care, but the efforts are well worth it. In a stand mixer with the dough hook attached, you're going to add flour. And this dough comes together rather quickly, doesn't take a lot of work, because the last thing you want is actually to toughen the dough by overworking it. We'll move on to some wet ingredients. Water, milk, sugar, softened butter. We actually want to work this butter into the dough. The laminating butter will come later. Salt, and then we have some instant yeast, so there won't be any proofing. Put your mixer down, start it on low first, and we'll just keep kneading the dough till it just comes together. It's ready. It's as simple as that. At this point, you can tip it out onto a work surface, wrap it up in cling film, and leave it in the fridge overnight. Now that the dough has rested overnight, we move on to laminating. And all that is sandwiching the butter between the dough itself. To start out, we're going to make what's called a butter block. You take butter from the fridge, cut it into slices, and form a 6-inch square. Put it between 2 pieces of wax paper, and you're going to whack the butter into a nice flat square. We can move on to getting out the dough and putting the butter into its packet. Croissant dough is different than puff pastry because of the fact that it actually gets its rise from 2 different factors. First, you have the yeast in the dough, which puff pastry does not, and then you have the butter. So now we're going to introduce the two. You'll see after the overnight rest, the dough has gotten soft. We're now going to work this out on a lightly floured surface to a 10-inch square. Even now, as I work it, the dough feels cold to the touch, it feels firm, tiny bit springy, but not tough. So now that we have the 10-inch square, we're going to wrap our butter. Take your butter block, and see how we have a point facing me? I'm now going to take a short edge and place the butter in the center. Now it's time for wrapping. Take one corner, bring it to the middle, the next, do the same. 4 corners will meet. Use firm pressure, but try not to smear. This will seal the butter into the dough. So now you have your butter package. We're going to work this out to an 8 by 24 inch rectangle. Once it is at the size we need, we'll start folding. It's these folds that exponentially increase the number of layers in the dough. The butter acts as a separator, and that's what's going to give us both that flake and rise. Now that we're at the size we need, we're doing a letter fold. Top goes to the middle, bottom goes up, stretched over, press it lightly to seal. Now we'll wrap this, and the dough package will go into the fridge for 30 minutes to chill, and then we'll repeat this process 2 more times. After its overnight rest, we're on to shaping the croissants. This is baking day. What we're going to do is once again roll it out to a large rectangle. Then using a straight edge, mark each side. One side will be marked 2.5 inches, the other at 5-inch intervals. Connect those to form your triangles. With either a rolling pin or your hand, give the triangle just a bit of a stretch. This will give you more rolls. And then with even pressure, you again want to push the rolls tightly, but without squishing them, into your croissant shape. Onto parchment, make sure that the tip is towards the bottom so that the rolls don't start unrolling when they get into the oven. Once the croissants are properly proofed, give them a light glaze of egg wash. That's simply an egg mixed with a little bit of water. Then bake them into the hot oven until they're golden brown and feel light for their size. When you break it apart, you have the touched with chestnut color on the outside, all those gorgeous layers inside. That's the product of your hard work. And truly, it's brilliant. Be sure to head to bemakeful.com for more recipes like this one, and follow @bemakeful to see what I'll be making next. And if you make this recipe or any of the others, please use the hashtag Oven Atelier so we can see what you're up to.